"Ma'am, you can write all the tickets you want," I told her, "but this gravel drive is my great-granddad's, and you're standing on it." That's how it started, right there in the middle of my own driveway on a windy Saturday. Cottonwood fluff was drifting through the air like lazy snow. I had a mug of coffee in one hand, the other resting on the old iron gate my dad hung the summer. I graduated high school. The HOA president, folks around here call her Karen, though I'll stay polite, stood with a clipboard and two board members like she was leading a parade. Her SUV blocked half my entrance, hazard lights flashing like there was some kind of emergency. "You're in violation," she said, tapping her clipboard. "Unauthorized fencing. Trespassing on common property. We've warned you twice." Well, I took a slow sip. You know how it goes. I've lived here 27 years. My dad before me. "We're not in your HOA," she smiled. That tight kind of smile people use when they think they own the rulebook and the referee. "Everything east of the creek is governed by Pine Hollow HOA. You're east of the creek." I looked past her at that lazy S-shaped creek winding behind the sycamores. "My granddad taught me to fish there." "The creek moved," I said. "Flood of '98 rerouted it. The property line didn't." She gave a quick laugh. "The board has maps." I nodded toward the flag on my porch, Dad's flag, the one he folded every Memorial Day like it was alive. "So do I." She scribbled something, tore off a pink slip, and held it out like a parking ticket. "You have 72 hours to remove the gate and vacate HOA property." Behind her, some neighbor I didn't even know filmed the whole thing on his phone. That part stung, not because it was embarrassing, but because it felt like a stranger was mocking my father's handiwork. I stayed calm. That's how I was raised. But inside, something scraped hard. My dad always said, "We don't pick fights, son. We just stand the line." And sometimes standing that line means swallowing your pride until it's time. So I took the slip, folded it in half, and said, "Thank you. I'll take care of it." "You'd better," she said, turning on her heel. "We'll be back." As her SUV rolled off, the old wind chimes under my porch clinked in the breeze. The air smelled like cut hay and rain on the way. I set my mug down, ran my hand along the iron hinge, and felt my jaw tighten. I wasn't mad yet, but I could feel it coming like thunder too far away to hear, but close enough to feel in your chest that night. I laid the slip beside my dad's old deed in its plastic sleeve. My wife, Linda, traced her fingers along the edge. "You okay?" she asked softly. "I'm fine," I said. "I just hate that the first thing she reached for was a threat." Linda nodded. "Some people start with volume. We'll start with facts." We stood there listening to the fridge hum and the creek whisper outside. And then that sound, the flag rope ticking against the pole. Dad always said that sound meant home. Monday morning, I drove to the county recorder's office with a folder thick enough to use as a pillow, Mrs. Dillard. The clerk had known my father. She peered over her glasses and said, "Your daddy always brought donuts when he came in." "You got donuts?" I smiled. "No donuts. But I brought proof." I laid down the 1979 survey, the '99 floodplain map, and last year's updated parcel report. We never opted into Pine Hollow. HOA boundary stops at the old fence line, not the creek. She took her time. I let her. I'm not a man who rushes the truth. Finally, she stamped it and slid me a copy. "You're clean," she said. Then, softer, "Tell your dad I said hi." I swallowed. "He passed, ma'am." She blinked. "Then tell yourself he raised a steady one." On my way home, I stopped by Ed Ramirez's place, local surveyor, good friend. We walked the line together, checking the old iron pins buried deep, the ones my granddad set with a sledge and a prayer. Ed squinted at the GPS and nodded. "Your boundary's solid," he said. "Creek can wander. Deed can't." By afternoon, I had a binder thicker than a church Bible. Deeds, stamps, affidavits, the whole truth in paper form. I drafted a polite letter to the HOA board. No sarcasm. Just dates, facts, and a simple request to stop the nonsense. Linda read it and smiled. That's your father's tone, calm, straight, and unshakable. Then came the certified letter. The HOA's attorney. I opened it on the porch, wind flipping the edges. Cease and desist, it said. Remove the gate or face legal action. There it was, calm to disbelief in 60 seconds flat. I called, got voicemail. So I emailed the whole binder, CC'd, the county, and the surveyor. Ended with one clean line. We are not, and have never been, members of Pine Hollow HOA. Please stop trespassing on our title. That night, I couldn't sleep. Not fear. Something heavier. So I walked the property line with a flashlight, gravel crunching under my boots. The creek whispered low, like it remembered my granddad. Next morning, a sheriff's cruiser rolled up. Not fast, just that whoop-whoop they use when it's civil business. Deputy Hall stepped out, tipping his hat. Got a call, Tom? HOA says you're blocking access. I sighed. You want coffee? He grinned. If you're offering. We stood on the porch with steaming mugs. I handed him the binder. He flipped through, whistled. You've done your homework. I hate homework, I said. But I love my dad's name. He nodded, serious now. I'll let them know. Can't enforce HOA bylaws anyway. That's civil. But if they touch that gate without a court order, call me. And just like that, I could breathe again. Not victory, just relief. 2 days later, they came back. This time, with their lawyer in a charcoal suit. Shiny shoes sinking in my gravel like truth in mud. Mr. Walker, he said, we're here to resolve this amicably. Good, I said, handing him a fresh binder. Start with page 1. He read, frowned, and mumbled. We may need to confer. Take your time, I said. They huddled by their SUV. The flag rope ticked. A blue jay landed on the fence like it came to watch. When they came back, their tone had changed. We'll review and get back to you. Perfect, I said. Meanwhile, quit blocking my driveway, he flushed. She glared. They left calm to confrontation. Check. 3 weeks later, I got word. The HOA had filed a complaint claiming my access lane was common property. Their evidence? A blurry photocopy of a map that looked like it was drawn with a crayon. That's when I hired Margot Steele, small-town attorney, iron backbone. They built their case on creek water, she said. We'll build ours on iron pins. Court day smelled like old carpet and pine saw. The judge listened, patient as a mountain. Then he asked 3 questions that cut clean through the nonsense. Did the Walkers ever opt into Pine Hollow HOA? No. Does the HOA boundary, as recorded, include their land? No. Did the HOA issue fines and threats anyway? Yes. He leaned back, folded his hands. That's what I thought. No fireworks. Just justice, plain and public. He ruled in our favor. We were never part of Pine Hollow. The gate stayed. The lane stayed ours. The HOA had to cover our costs and send written retractions to every neighbor they'd misled. That right there was the calm to justice moment. But sunlight has a way of showing more cracks. Turns out I wasn't the only one they'd bullied. Mrs. Ellison down the road, widowed, quiet, had been paying fines for years she didn't. Oh, the Martinez family had been threatened over their wheelchair ramp. None of them in the HOA either. By midsummer, Pine Hollow held an emergency meeting. I didn't go. It wasn't my fight anymore. But word travels fast in small towns. Before the next Sunday, everyone knew. The president resigned. The attorney was fired. The board voted to dissolve the HOA altogether. I was fixing a fence picket when Ed drove up. He leaned on the rail, looking out at the creek. The place feels lighter, he said. Yeah, I smiled. It does. The wind picked up, and Dad's flag lifted one clean wave, then another. Like it was saying, you did good, son. I'm not the type to gloat. But I do love a clean line, an honest paper. and neighbors who shake hands after a hard talk. If they'd just knocked on my door that first day, I'd have offered coffee. We could have figured it out. But they brought a fight to my father's gate and learned what it was made of. That evening, I laid the court order next to the old pink ticket on the porch rail. Linda brought out 2 mugs. The sun dipped low, turning the creek to gold. Down the road, Kid rode past the baseball cart in his spokes ticking like the flag rope, and for the first time since that Saturday, I felt peace. People think these fights are about fences. They're not. They're about dignity, about the promise a father hands his son with a folded flag. Take care of your place. Tell the truth. Don't let anyone shame you out of your own front yard. The HOA sent their retractions. Mrs. Ellison got her money back. The Martinez ramp stayed. And those old iron pins? Still holding the line? I punched a hole through that pink ticket, hung it by a nail in the shed. Not as a trophy, as a reminder. Sometimes the loudest people are just the most nervous. And the best answer to a shout is quiet proof and steady hands. The wind shifted. The flag waved again above my porch, steady and sure. Some fights aren't about land, they're about legacy. About protecting the hands that built your home. Ever stood up to an HOA bully or had to draw your own line? Tell me below. I read every story. If you believe some fights are worth having, hit subscribe and join our porch stories.